Hey guys, what is up? My name is Landon and welcome to the Jersey Zone. So today I wanted to do a video on my favorite logos from each team. Now I am going to do only the primary logos or the logos that they have used on the front of the jersey. I'm not going to do any secondary logos or any logos that they've used on the shoulders. I might do a video on that in the future, but for right now it's just going to be on the primary logos or logos that they've used on the front of the jersey. But anyways, let's start off in alphabetical order with the Anaheim Ducks, or what I seem to call them all the time, the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. I always tend to call them that, and I think that's because of the fact that I always think of their old logo, their Mighty Ducks logo, when I think about that team, and that's what I'm going to go with, their Mighty Ducks logo, their original logo that they used back in 1993, and I think they used it all the way up until 2006. Obviously, they've used it a few times since then as well, with alternate jerseys and such like that, but that is my favorite logo for the Ducks. I'm pretty sure it's many people's favorite logos with the Ducks. The Wild Wing is also pretty close for me. I like that logo a lot as well, but he's also wearing a Mighty Ducks logo, so that's why I went with the original logo. That is my favorite. Then on to the Arizona Coyotes, and this one might surprise a few people. My favorite logo isn't the Kachina. Although it's close, I do like the Kachina a lot. It's in second place, and it's not very far behind the first place one, but my first place logo is going to be the Running Yote. I love the Running Yote. I don't know why. I don't know why I prefer it over the Kachina, but I just think it's a great logo. I'm upset that they haven't used it since 2014. They started using it in 2008 as a third, and they ended it in 2014. I want them to go back to that logo because I like it a lot. Like I said, the Kachina is pretty close behind the Running Yote. It's not a very large distance in between the two, but I just like the Running Yote a little bit more. I guess it's just running a little bit faster than that Kachina. That was an awful joke, I'm sorry. Okay, moving on from that terrible joke, on to the Boston Bruins. Now, I'm not really a huge fan of their current logo or their original logo. They haven't really changed the spoke B that much. I'm not really a huge fan of it, and they've also used just a B as a logo as well, which is slightly boring, although I do like it on their 2019 Winter Classic. I like that version of it because it is a little bit fluffy. It has that fluffy logo. But my favorite logo is the cartoon spoked B. They used it in their 2010 Winter Classic. That's my favorite logo for the Bruins. I kind of like cartoony logos a little bit more. The Pooh Bear is not far behind this one. I will say that as well. I really do like the Pooh Bear. But for some reason, I kind of like cartoony logos, and that's why I like this one a lot as well. There is a few logos that I don't mind that they used as thirds in the past, but for some reason, just that cartoony B is my favorite. And then we're on to Buffalo, and you guys all know what I'm going to pick. It's the goat head. How can you not choose the goat head when looking at the Buffalo Sabres? It's by far and away their best logo in my opinion. Not really anyone is close to that. I don't mind the cross swords and I don't mind the Buffalo Slug, but how can you not love the goat head? It's easily my first place logo for the Buffalo Sabres. And now we're on to Calgary, and once again, Calgary is a very easy team for me. It's going to be Blasty, because once again, how can you not love Blasty? By far and away my favorite Flames logo, although I don't mind their current logo, or I guess it's their original logo as well. They've used the same logo basically the entire time they've been a team. I don't mind that logo, although I do only like it in one color, and that's red. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because fire is red, and that is why I think the Red Sea is better than all the other ones. The white one, it's iffy for me. I really don't like the Black Sea. I'm not really too sure why on that one, but for some reason, just the Black Sea and the White Sea, I'm not a huge fan of. The Red Sea is definitely a higher up, but they're not even close to Blasty. Blasty is by far and away my favorite Flames logo. Next up, on to Carolina, and Carolina is another easy one. They've only used 3 logos in their history. Their current one or their original one, it's the same logo. The flag logo or the double flag logo. I'm going with the double flag logo. I think it's a better logo. It also represents a hurricane warning instead of I believe the single flag logo is a tropical warning, something like that. Pretty sure it's a tropical storm warning, but either way, I like the double flag logo a little bit more. Although I don't know if I like it on the jersey itself. I don't have a double flag logo, although I do really want it. I do have a single flag logo, and I do like the single flag wearing it. I think it might work a little bit better than the double flag logo. I think the double flag logo might be a little bit too big, but that's not what I'm ranking here. I'm ranking the look of the logo, and I like the double flag look a little bit more, also because of the fact that it's actually a little bit more accurate than the single flag logo. Also, I do want to mention as well is I'm not going to count the Whalers logo that they're using on the reverse retro, and they've used as a third as well. I'm not really going to count that just because of the fact that although Carolina has worn it, I don't really consider it as a Carolina Hurricanes logo, so that's why I'm not going to be counting the Hartford Whalers logo there. Anyways, moving on to Chicago. Now, with the Chicago Blackhawks, my favorite Blackhawks logo is their current one. The last kind of changes to it happened in 1999, so they've kind of had it since 1999 till now, And there has been like kind of slight changes to the logo previously, but it stayed relatively the same, although I think the current one does look the best, and I do really like it on the jersey as well. It does have the chain stitching on the Adidas jerseys, and it looks really, really nice with the chain stitching, so it is my favorite Blackhawks logo. Now on to the Colorado Avalanche. My favorite logo of theirs is the one that they're using on their alternate jersey. I absolutely love that logo. They've used it since 2015 until now, although there was one gap year in the 2017-2018 season. When they switched over to Adidas, they didn't have that third jersey program yet. The next year, they did end up implementing it, so that is when they started using it again, so there was that kind of gap year, but other than that, they've been using it since 2015, and I absolutely love that logo. The only logo that comes kind of close to it, in my opinion, is their 2016 Stadium Series jersey, and it's basically just the middle part of that logo without the mountain, so it's basically just a worse version of it, in my opinion, but either way, I absolutely love that alternate logo. And then on to the Columbus Blue Jackets. My favorite Blue Jackets logo is the cannon. I absolutely love the cannon. I love everything about the cannon. I love the cannon jersey. I just really like the colors on the cannon as well. I like the kind of cream color. I just think it's a really, really nice looking logo. The only one that kind of comes close is their original logo. I do really like the original logo as well, but the cannon does beat it out for me. Now on to the Dallas Stars, and my favorite Stars logo is their original logo, although it's technically not quite their original logo. They started using this logo in 1995, and they used it all the way up until 2011. The only difference in between this logo and their actual original logo is their original logo didn't have lettering at the top that said Dallas. It just had the stars. That's all it had. But for some reason, I just prefer it with the Dallas on top. For some reason, I just like it a little bit more. Maybe it's because I kind of grew up with it. But either way, that is my favorite Stars logo. Now we're on to the Detroit Red Wings. And once again, they're another team that hasn't really changed their logo a whole lot. There has been very, very slight changes to the logo, and my favorite version of it is their current one. The last time they made changes to it was in 1983, but yeah, it's been very, very slight changes for the Detroit Red Wings, although they have had some nice Winter Classic and Stadium Series logos and stuff like that. My favorite logo of all is their current one. I just think it looks the best. And now on to the Edmonton Oilers, and my favorite Oilers logo is the oil drop, the one that they used from 2001 to 2007. I think that one is their best logo. I like it a lot. It looks fun. It looks cool. Their current logo is fine. I don't really mind it, but I just like the look of the oil drop a lot more. And now on to the Florida Panthers, and my favorite Panthers logo is the original logo with the breaking stick. I think the one with the breaking stick looks a little bit better. They used that from 1998 until 2007. The original logo is not bad, but I just like the look of the stick a little bit more. I just think the addition of the stick is just a little bit better in my opinion. I don't mind their current logo. I know some people think it looks a little too corporate. To me personally, I don't really think it does, but I do think that original logo with the breaking stick looks really, really nice, and that is my favorite. Now we're on to the LA Kings, and there is a ton to choose from with the Kings. I like basically every single logo that they've used, except for their current one. Not really a huge fan of their current one. I think it's okay, but they've had definitely a lot better ones in the past. And my favorite is actually their original logo, the one that they used on their gold jerseys. Because they did have two kind of different logos with their gold jerseys and with their purple jerseys. It was basically just the background of the crown kind of changed a little bit. With the gold jerseys, it had the purple background, and with the purple jerseys, it had a gold background. I think it looked a little bit nicer with the purple background. I think it popped a little bit better with the purple background. So that is my favorite Kings logo, although I do like really almost every single Kings logo. I think they're all absolutely fantastic. Next up onto the Minnesota Wild, and my favorite Wild logo is their current one or their original one. They haven't really changed it a whole lot since they entered the league in 2000. The only things that they have done to the logo is they made it kind of like that circle logo for a little bit there in the mid 2000s. Wasn't really a huge fan of that. And they also had that third jersey, which was a word mark. Wasn't a huge fan of the word marks because I don't really like word marks. So their original logo and their current logo is definitely my favorite. And I just think it is a very, very nice looking logo. It's one of the best logos in the league in my opinion. So even if they did change it, I probably would still have this one as my favorite because it does look the best in my opinion. And now we're on to the Montreal Canadiens, and surprisingly enough, I'm not really a huge fan of the Canadiens logo. I don't really like it a whole lot. It's not like I hate it, but I'm just not really a huge fan of it. And they've basically only used that logo with slight changes for pretty much the entire time they've been a team. Although there was a few times where they didn't use that logo, and it was all at the start of their existence, being a team in like the 1909s and all of that. But with the Canadiens not really using a whole bunch of logos, my favorite kind of ends up being one by default, and it's that one right up there, the CAC jersey if you want to call it, or the CAC logo if you want to call it, CAC. And if you guys didn't know this, and I didn't know this before looking it up, the CAC actually stands for something. It stands for Canadian Athletic Club. Didn't know that, a new fact that I learned, but they used that logo in the 1912 to 1913 season, and then they obviously did a throwback to it, which is that jersey right there, in the 2009 season when they did their 100th anniversary jerseys, and they had a whole bunch of those. So the ones that were in the 100th anniversary kind of throwback jerseys, those were the only other kind of logos that they used, and for me, just that one ends up being my favorite. I didn't really like the green leaf as much as that one, and then just the regular C I wasn't really a huge fan of either, so that one ends up being my favorite a little bit by default. Also because CAC. Now we're on to the Nashville Predators, and my favorite Nashville logo is the one that they used with their checkerboard jersey. I really like that logo a lot. I like the silver in it a lot. I like it a lot more than the gold that they use on their current logo and their old logo. I don't mind their old logo, but it has kind of like red parts to it, and I'm just not really a huge fan of those red parts. I like the all silver a lot more with the red eyes. I just think that it looks a little bit nicer, so that is my favorite Nashville logo. Now we're on to the New Jersey Devils, and my favorite Devils logo is their original, the one that they used in 1982 till 1992. That is my favorite Devils logo, although it hasn't really changed a whole lot. The only changes to the Devils logo is the outline of the logo itself. It changed from green to black. I like it in green a little bit more. I like the Devils with Christmas colors a little bit more, so that is my favorite Devils logo. And now we're on to the New York Islanders, and my favorite Islanders logo, it has to be the Fisherman, because how can it not be? The 1995-1997 Islanders logo is absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love the Fisherman. I like it a lot more than their current logo. Not really a huge fan of their current logo. I don't think it's particularly bad, but they've just used it for so long that I like to kind of change up a little bit more. There are a few other logos that they used, which is just NY, but the Y kind of turns into a stick. I don't mind those logos a whole lot, even though they are kind of wordmark-esque. They're not really wordmarks in my opinion, so I like them a little bit more than their current logo, but in the end, I love the Fisherman logo. That is my favorite Islanders logo. And now we're on to the New York Rangers, and this is another easy one. It's Lady Liberty. They used that from 1996 to 2007, and of course they brought it back for the reverse retro, but I absolutely love the Lady Liberty. It's by far and away the best Rangers logo, and I'm not really a huge fan of the Rangers logos because it's really just a word mark, and I really don't like the Rangers word mark. The only other logo that I like of theirs is their Shield logo. I really like the Shield logo, although I know Rangers fans aren't really a huge fan of it. I like it a lot personally, but the Lady Liberty blows everything else out of the water in my opinion. Next up, onto the Ottawa Senators, and my favorite Senators logo is their original logo, just without the lettering, so it had kind of like the arrows and stuff. They used that from 1997 until 2007, but I just like it a lot more with the arrows. At least that's what I'm going to call it. Not really quite sure what they're supposed to be, but they're arrows to me at least. I like those a little bit more than the lettering itself, but either way, it's really my favorite Senators logo. I'm not really a huge fan of their 3D logo that they got rid of last year and kind of went back to the logo that I like a lot. And I'm not really a huge fan of the Crazy Eyes logo. Well, I kind of like the Crazy Eyes logo, but it's a lot more fun. I don't really think it actually looks good as a logo itself. I just think it looks really funny. I don't mind the O logo, the one that they used for their Heritage Classic, and I think they used it as a third as well, but I don't mind that logo in a way. As a logo itself though, like it's just an O, that's all it is. But on a jersey, I think it looks really nice. They've kind of made it so the O kind of looks nice on the jersey, but as a standalone logo, I'm not really a huge fan of it, so that's why I went to the logo that I did. And now we're on to the Philadelphia Flyers, and the Philadelphia Flyers, once again, are a team that has basically never changed their logo. They've had basically the same logo since 1967, all the way up until now. There has been really very slight changes to it. I believe just the outline of it has changed. The only time that they've really changed the logo was in 2002 when they kind of made like a silver outline to it, or they kind of made it look kind of 3D in a way. That's the only time that they've really changed the logo itself, and I kind of like it, but I kind of don't at the same time, so I'm just going with their current logo or their original logo, whatever you want to say, because it's the same thing, because they've used the same logo since 1967. Next up, onto the Pittsburgh Penguins, and this one might be a shocker to some people as well. It's not the RoboPen, although I do really like the RoboPenguin. I like the kind of 2011 Winter Classic, which then turned into a third jersey until 2013. I like that logo a lot. I don't know why, but it's kind of just cute in a way. I like the scarf around the penguin, and it's a little chubby, so it kind of looks a little fat, and I like that a lot. And I like the blue and the cream color a lot as well, so I kind of just like the whole kind of aspect of the jersey. And now we're on to the San Jose Sharks, and for me, I prefer the full shark in my opinion. This one they used on their third jerseys from 2008 to 2017, and I personally just like the full shark a lot more than the one coming out of the triangle. I just think it looks a little bit more neat with the full shark, but that's just my opinion. And now we're on to the St. Louis Blues, and for me, I love the Arch logo. I love it a lot. They used it as a third from 2008 to 2017. That is by far and away my favorite Blues logo. I just really like the arch in the background of the Blues. I just think it looks really neat. The only one that really comes close to it is their original logo, or the one that they used also on their 2017 Winter Classic, I believe is what it was, and as well is their current third jersey as well. That logo I do like just because it is a lighter blue and kind of like a lighter yellow, and I like that lighter tone a little bit more than their current kind of darker blue. But the arch logo still kind of kicks it out of the way a little bit, and that is my favorite Blues logo. Now onto the Tampa Bay Lightning. My favorite logo of theirs is their original, the one that I'm wearing right now, the one that they wore from 1992 till 2007. I just like the cartoonish font. I like the cartoonish lightning bolt. I just think it's a lot of fun. I don't mind their current one, the one that I'm wearing on my hat. I don't mind that logo as well, but this one kind of edges it out just a little bit. I just think this one is a lot more fun. Next up, onto my favorite team, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and honestly, my favorite logo of the Maple Leafs is their current one, the one that I started using in 2016. I like that one a lot. I love how many kind of edges it has to it. I think it looks really nice. The only other logo that I really like as close to as their current one is their 2014 Winter Classic. They also had it back in the day. I think it was like 1932 is when they originally had it. Actually, looking at my banner back there, it looks like they wore it from 1926 and 1927, and then at the 1931 and 1932 season. So those are the seasons they wore that logo, but I do like that logo a lot, but their current one, in my opinion, is just a little bit better, and that is my favorite Leafs logo. And now onto the Vancouver Canucks, and this one is pretty easy in my opinion, although I do like basically every single logo the Canucks have worn. The skate jersey does push it out. They wore it from 1985 to 1997, and of course they've worn it a few times since then as well. It is their current third jersey, and I absolutely love that logo. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's a really fun logo. Like I said, I do like the other logos of the Canucks. I think they have a pretty good logo history, but how can you not love the skate logo? Next up onto the Vegas Golden Knights, and for them, I'm going to go with their main logo, the one that they used on their home and away jerseys. I could technically go with their reverse retro, but I'm going to hold off because I'm probably going to use that for their secondary logo if I ever do that video, because I do technically like their secondary logo a lot more than their current one, but I do like their primary logo. I think it's really nice. I like the V in the helmet as well, and the kind of outside of the helmet has a little texture to it as well, and it looks really nice in person. So as much as I do like that secondary logo, I do really like the primary as well, so I'm going to go with their primary logo, the one that they've used since 2017. Now on to the Washington Capitals, and this is another easy one for me. I'm going with the Screaming Eagle. They wore these from 1995 to 2002, and I absolutely love this logo. I think it's fantastic. The only logo that comes close, in my opinion, is the Capitol building. But other than that, the Capitals basically just have a wordmark logo. And of the wordmark logos, I do think it's one of the better ones. I don't mind it as much as like the Rangers or the Canes away jersey. I'm not really a huge fan of the Canes away jersey. But I definitely do prefer a logo itself, and that is why I love the Screaming Eagle so much. I'm really glad they bought it back for the reverse retro. And now, finally, with the Winnipeg Jets, I'm going to go with their OG throwback logos, the one that they wore for their 2016 Winter Classic and the 2019 Heritage Classic. I really like this logo a lot, and once I got their 2016 Winter Classic jersey, I realized the logo has chain stitching, which makes me like it even more. It looks really nice in person. I was kind of debating on whether I like the logo on their 2016 Winter Classic and their 2019 Heritage Classic or the reverse retro. The only difference being is the reverse retro has blue lettering as well as blue around the jet, and the 2016 and 2019 Heritage Classic and Winter Classic has red, and I do think the red looks a little bit nicer. It also just pops a little bit better than the blue does. I think the blue just makes everything look a little bit too dark, so that is why this logo ends up being my favorite. But yeah, so those are my favorite primary logos. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I would love to see what your guys' favorite primary logos are. If you guys like this video, make sure to leave a like and make sure to subscribe for more jersey content. Like I said, I'm probably going to do my favorite secondary logos as well, so if you want to see that, make sure to hit subscribe. Also, make sure to follow me on my Instagram and my Twitter at the Jersey Zone YT on Instagram and at the Jersey Zone on Twitter. Links are in the description down below. But like I said, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.